Somebody told me one time, they said, Barry, you had a bad childhood. And I just thought, oh well, I think I did. I think I did. But what happened? I became a counselor. Go figure. Go figure. So for 50 years, I have walked with people, talked with people from all walks of life. All walks of life. I've worked with the homeless. I've worked with people that are addicted and drug addicts. And I've really learned. I've learned all about life. I've learned about change. I've learned about wonder. I've learned about how things can happen. And just in a blink of an eye, or they can take a long time. But I've learned how it can happen, how someone can get sober and just enjoy life, how someone can be healed from suicidality, from everything, to really get close to life and live a cleaner and better life. So I've seen it. So that line, had not God been my preoccupation, I would have perished in my suffering. So I know that about myself. I think I would have perished in my suffering. Even these past 5 years of the cancer, of having my kids move away, of my mom dying, and a bunch of other things, I would have perished in my suffering. Just like somebody who's homeless, just like somebody who's addicted to drugs. But it didn't happen. And I think about one thing that did happen. When I was about 5 or 6, I remember my grandmother one day just out of the blue praying for me. And she said, do you accept Jesus? And I was 5 or 6 and I said, yes, I do. And she prayed over me and prayed over me, and a light went on for me. And I could not stop singing this song that I had learned. And I just said, I sang it and sang it and sang it. I said, bring them in, bring them in, bring them in from the field of sin, bring them in, bring them in, bring the little ones to Jesus. And that's what happened. I don't know how it happened. I sang it so loud. I remember in the car with my uncle, he just said, shut up, shut up. And I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop singing it. But it was such a revelation. And look at where my life went. Okay, I have cancer. Okay, things have happened. You know, I have suffering. I do have suffering. And as a child, I had suffering. But had not God been my preoccupation, I would have just perished in my suffering. So anyone who's out there, just remember, just look to God to help with suffering. David's actually said, had not God been my preoccupation or my delight, I would have perished in my suffering. And it's the same for me, and it can be the same for you too. And one of the best ways to come close to God that I have learned is reading. And then I came across, I was just reading about St. John Chrysostom and his influence on people. And there was someone called Etropus the Reader. And Etropus the Reader is not a saint, but he's a martyr, and he died by iron nails or whatever, just an obscure person. But I learned about him, and I just thought, wow, a reader, that was his name, Etropus the Reader. And I just thought, so reading is a way to get close to God. Reading is a way. So I read about Psalm 119. Had not God been my delight, had not God been my preoccupation, I would have perished in my suffering. And I believe that about myself. I know that about myself. But somehow it's not been that way. I really want to encourage anybody who's in the dark night of the soul, and who knows where dark thoughts can lead, but that to have a thoughts about God, to train your thoughts, to have a preoccupation with God and His Word, and not to perish in suffering, not to perish in your suffering, to really have a preoccupation with God, to learn about God, to study God, to get close to God. And that was how David knew that he was saved. He did not perish in his suffering, and he had a lot of it. Etropus the Reader, well, he was martyred, but he did read a lot, and that was inspiring to me to understand that somebody could be known at that time anyway for reading. I think it was in the year 400. I just happened to come across his name, but Eutropus the Reader. But had not God been my delight, had not God been my preoccupation, I would have perished in my suffering. Don't perish in your suffering. Have God get you through the dark night of the soul to the other side. I have cancer and I have joy. It's been horrible and it's been beautiful. Not having a good childhood is a horrible thing, but it's a beautiful thing. So enjoy the beauty, enjoy the wonder, enjoy the joy of knowing God. And it's horrible to experience things, but it's beautiful to know God and to get through it, to get to the other side of the dark night. It's been a hard 5 years for me, a very hard 5 years. But the other side of it is delight. The other side of it is joy, even with cancer. And you can have it too. Blessed be the name of God. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring them in from the fields of sin. And my uncle said, shut up, shut up, shut up. But I couldn't stop. It was such a fascination. So I just want anybody to get close to God, to get through the dark night of the soul, to not fear cancer, to not fear incarceration, to not fear wanting to get sober, to get through it and to rely on God, to rely on God. Had not God been my preoccupation, David says, I would have perished in my suffering. Do not perish in your suffering. Do not fear the dark night of the soul. Do not fear life. Do not fear the darkness of life. If you want to like this, go ahead. If you want to subscribe, please do. If you want to leave a comment, that would be great. Do not fear the darkness.